So long as they don't go cheap for power, please women more than men. Those are the words of MacArthur genius and poet Wendell Berry, and he wasn't wrong. But it's going to take the additional wisdom of a couple of women, one an evolutionary biologist and the other a sexual anthropologist, to really unlock what he's getting at in a way we can use today. So first we got to figure out the ways that women can go cheap for power, because let's face it, from time to time, from Salome getting John the Baptist beheaded to Lady Macbeth whacking King Duncan, they can. And that's where biologist Heather Haying shared with me a distinction on the two pitfalls of women seeking influence. The first is when women go cheap for power by imitating the power of men. Think of it as the Margaret Thatcher, Angela Merkel, Hillary Clinton approach. Stern, unemotional, tough. Any display of femininity seen as vulnerability or lack of credibility. So not really that much different than the male leaders they replaced, just with a bad bob and a pantsuit. The next is harder to spot, and that's where Heather's background in evolutionary mating strategies was really insightful. She pointed out that when young, sexually competitive women use their mating fitness to end-run the matriarchs, bad things happen. Powerful men get sex-struck, and wise elder women get left by the wayside. Melinda Gates, Mackenzie Scott, and Lauren Powell Jobs are good examples of the wiser and more generous elder archetype playing through regardless, even when their men got distracted, but they each had billions to leverage. Leave it to you to choose your own example of the gold-digging hussy. It's a vibe, for sure. So, as long as they don't go cheap for power, either by imitating toxic masculinity or by weaponizing young sexuality, we should please women more than men. So on to the dudes. Helen Fisher, Match.com scientist and lead researcher at the Kinsey Institute, told me, men are really good at three things: fighting stuff, fucking stuff, and building stuff. But when to fight, and who to fuck, and what to build, not always so good. And this all came from her research on dopamine, testosterone, serotonin, and estrogen as drivers of personality types. So what to do in this battle of the sexes and how to point the guys in the right direction. One cool example from history is how the Six Nations, the Haudenosaunee, did it. For sure, they had war chiefs, and those were the guys who really knew how to fight stuff, and they led the warriors into battle. But before they could do that, they had to sign off from the Grandmothers' Council that sat above them. And the grandmothers, firmly in their elder years, no longer jockeying to position their own children or their lovers, could hold the bigger picture on behalf of their people. Instead of getting sucked into the blood feuds that could escalate and drag on for years, they held their men to account, and they made sure that war parties could win without casualties so they could get back to the building stuff. And as for the fucking stuff, well, that brings us back to the next lines of Wendell Berry's poem. He says, ask yourself, will this satisfy a woman satisfied to bear a child? Will this disturb the sleep of a woman near to giving birth? So if we could all take a page from this poem and the recommendations of these wise women, maybe we could begin to think of our own culture in healthier ways. Because right now, we're distracted all the time by pretty young things, and we're run by aging men children who are running us into the ground, when what we really need is some good old grandmas to guide us.